Arguably, the biggest selling point for Tag Raid was the miniatures, a chance for Infinity players to get more lovely models for use in their skirmish battle games. However, unlike Defiance that gave backers an entire army straight out of the box to be able to be played in the game of Infinity, Tag Raid offers a bigger mishmash of various factions models that are mostly playable in the vanilla factions rather than sectorials. In this video we will look at the 5 corporations that are represented in Tag Raid, their miniatures, the mega beasts and other extra miniatures. Mines Corp is the largest of the corporations, a pan-Oceania company that has spent the most to snap up the largest collection of mines in Kurland. With their aggressive expansion, getting the personnel required for their mining operations has been a challenge and has led to their hiring lacking background checks, shall we say. They may be under the scrutiny of O12 and other law enforcement agencies, but they are still able to spend a lot on their equipment. The collection of Mines Corp miniatures are mixed with a varying range of quality in my mind. The Prospector and Remote have a lot of character, the former looking very similar to Ellen Ripley in the loader from Aliens. The Hacker and Engineer are more generic and pretty forgettable, other than some small designs that point to their pan-Oceania origin, such as the antenna on the Hacker. The Monster Hunter has some bulk to him and has a heroic pose, carrying his giant flamethrower in one hand. He was definitely the easiest of the Monster Hunters to build, that's for sure. The Tag, the Stonebreaker, is a design I really enjoy. It's an upscaled version of the Remote, but it gives me the big sister vibes from Bioshock 2, which is just awesome. For painting, I went with a very colourful scheme. I don't collect pano, so it gave me a lot of freedom in the approach. I wanted the turquoise jade for the armour, but was painting panels pink in preparation for yellow. However, I like the colour so much, I kept the pink in, whilst also adding some yellow as well. So I really like how vibrant the models came out. Where Mines Corp went into mass expansion of mines, UA Minerals consolidated with its crack team of veteran prospectors. Rather than throwing their mining teams into danger, the corporation recognizes the talent of their teams and has invested in remote prospectors that the miners can control at a safe distance for the most dangerous situations found in Kurland. Each of the miniatures for UA Minerals have their own unique look and pose, whilst also retaining that Yu-Ching aesthetic. I'm a bit biased toward Yu-Ching as I collect a small ISS army, but I think this corporation has some of the best minis. The Remote Prospector with the robotic dog remote looks so good together, and the Hacker in motion also has a very dynamic pose, and also the Engineer has got some really nice detail. But the mini that takes the cake, both in looking absolutely awesome and being the biggest pain to put together, has to go to the Monster Hunter. What a model! And what a headache it was to put that thing together. Oh my god. The Tafang Tag is also an impressive model. I really love the pose and the sculpt. Some of the surfaces seem a little more flat than I had originally expected, but it's still a beautiful model in its own right. I had to reposition the drill as it was bent, but some hot water quickly reset the original shape. My Yu-Ching are green with red trim, so that was the paint scheme I stuck to for UA Minerals. Getting the green to be very vibrant was important, so going from a dark blue base and working up to a yellow made up much of the scheme. The Nomad Corporation Rockerworks is made of a large number of independent mining groups from Corregidor. However, with no one wanting to mine on the surface of a planet, they have resorted to grafting rudimentary exoskeletons to convicts with a kill switch chemical implant to keep them under control. The Prospector has to be the star miniature of Tag Raid. Excellent pose and excellent sculpt with so much character. Absolute star. The Monstrucker's Engineer is also a great model, along with the roguish hooded Hacker. The Remote is cute and looks like it came out of the game Portal. The Monster Hunter also has a very cool pose and is full of character. It was a great pain to put together with that harpoon gun slung over the shoulder, but this group looked the most ragtag collection of characters out of all of the corporations, which is very much in the nature of the Nomad Nation and the Rockerworks Corporation itself. Their tag, the Rock Eater, with its large shoulders, looks not too dissimilar from the Gator tag. Of all the tags, this has the most generic aesthetic for me, and although a fine model, it's the one I'm least excited to paint. The only Nomads I have painted were Kusanagi from Defiance and the Illuminatrix of the Observance. Check out the painting video with the link at the top of the screen. Similar to my Yu Qing, they also have a lot of green and red. However, the green in my Nomads has a more muted tone to it, and there is a cold red-purple in the colour scheme as well. The Prospector thankfully has a lot of skin showing and was really fun to really exaggerate the muscle tones. The Caledonian weapons manufacturer that took the human sphere by storm with its Aristea sponsorships has now entered the mining business, and on its home planet of Dawn, they may not have access to the same levels of technology that its competitors have, but they make up for that in good wages, a waiting list of recruits, and, well, a lack of good radiation prevention methods, so it's probably best just to stick to one tour and then retire. As a JSA player, these miniatures are actually going to be very useful for my games of Infinity if I want to bring reinforcements. The Prospector is a bulky, scary lady with a very big hammer. The remote is a wonderful crossover of Johnny 5 and Wally. The hacker makes for an excellent war diver, and the engineer is basically a 112 emergency service model for Ariadna. The monster hunter reminds me of Bill from Left 4 Dead and has that intimidating grandpa look. A solid group of miniatures. The tag is very, very similar to the Chernobog and can easily act as one in games of Infinity if you wanted it to. It's just lacking the missile launchers and guns. I'll be using it as an Anaconda for my JSA reinforcements. I know it looks nothing like it, but that's the reinforcement tag for all NA2, so whatever. As I was going to use these miniatures in Infinity as my JSA reinforcements, I wanted to make their colour scheme similar. I also already had two corporations with a lot of green and wanted to do something different with these guys. I went for black power armour with an NMM gold trim. In the Search and Capture expansion, we also get the Morat Corporation, the Dra Company. These Morats follow in the wake of the Morat aggression forces working salvage and recovery missions. Their skills in this have become very useful for working the mines of Kurland. These miniatures are the bulkiest of the set. The Prospector is especially intimidating with his great claw arm appendages coming from his suit of armour. The remote is a hound-like creature that looks equally cute and dangerous. I find the hacker has an awkward pose and doesn't look comfortable with his upright stance and outstretched hand. The engineer is completely covered in armour but looks great with its blast shield. Finally, the monster hunter is, well, mediocre in my opinion with its pose and design. Maybe I'll like it more once I get some paint on it. The Vergok tag is made for accessing all kinds of terrain and has a pretty intimidating and large design. I like it a lot and it's very unique from the other tag designs in the game. There were 3 additional miniatures in the game. Van Zant, the Monster Hunter, is a pretty on-the-nose homage to Denton Van Zandt from Reign of Fire, and the 2 minor bots are just as cute as anything. The Mega Beasts are the real deal with this Kickstarter. These models are the biggest models that Corvus Belli have produced, and they are big. The Storeworm is a really cool model that's very reminiscent of the worms from Dune. It's made from PVC, but the details are still very strong. My biggest trouble with it is that the connecting point requires the model to be stuck together to make sure it holds together and not fall apart. However, if it is glued, then you cannot store it away in the provided box. I'm currently trying to set up magnets inside to hold it together more easily, but it's proving difficult. The Steindrager is even more awesome in scale and is quite frankly huge. I do not know how I'm going to store it, and that's probably going to be the biggest problem for people. The wings also suffer from a similar problem as the Storeworm, but I've found a bit of blue tack inside has helped hold it pretty firmly, and I can still dismantle it without a problem. Finally, there's the Gerlanak. There are a lot of smooth edges in the sculpt, and it's probably the least impressive model of the 3. We'll see what it's like to paint. Perhaps it will come alive with some colour. Finally, we have the scenery pack. It has full 3D representations of the scenery counters from the game, giving games of Tag Raid that extra immersive quality. They are fine PVC sculpts, and although I dislike painting terrain pieces, it will be nice to have some fully painted pieces on the board. Overall, I'm very happy with the miniatures in Tag Raid, and they will keep me busy as I work through painting them all. As I work through the tags, look out for painting videos on each of them, along with a bit more lore surrounding the corporations involved in Kurland's mining. Which corporations are your favourite, and were there any standout miniatures in the collection that you either loved or hated? Let me know in the comments. And thank you for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thank you very much.